After years of loyalty and public devotion, Mendeecees is done. A shocking DNA test just flipped everything, and now he's reportedly filing for divorce from Yandy. What did she really hide all this time? Mendeecees' shocking revelation on social media that Yandy had been concealing the truth about their family for years left fans in complete shock, wondering if everything they believed to be true about the couple was actually a big secret from Yandy, and what meant for their future. Emotions ran high as Mendeecees and Yandy engaged in a heated argument, leaving us all wondering if this was the end of one of reality TV's most well-known couples. Men, stay tuned as we dissect this astounding controversy one step at a time. As he gazed down at the DNA test results, DC's fingers shook as the words on the paper danced before his eyes. He didn't want to believe it, but the harsh reality was staring him in the face. The child Yandy had been claiming was not his at all. How could this have happened? How could Yandy, the person he trusted deeply and who supported him through thick and thin, betray him in this way? His mind raced back to all the times he had spent with the child, including late-night feedings, birthday celebrations, and family vacations, as the weight of the revelation sank in that the child they believed wasn't even his. How many times had he stared into those helpless eyes and convinced himself that sticking at Yandy's side was the proper thing to do? He was so broken that he was hardly able to breathe without difficulty. As NBC fled the home and got into his car, his thoughts turned to Yandy. He couldn't wait any longer and had to find out why she had done this and why she had lied to him. As he drove, his rage began to grow. It wasn't just about the child. It was about everything, the deception and the lies. He wasn't even sure how he would handle the years of trust that had just been destroyed in an instant. When he arrived at the house, the door was already open, and Yandy was inside, backwards, preparing dinner, unaware of the impending storm that would hit New York. He stood at the doorway for a moment, taking a deep breath, and then entered. The tension was high, and he could hardly control his emotions. This was the first time he had ever seen her. Yandy shouted out his voice steadily, but she felt a twinge of rage rising within her as she turned to face him. Her grin softened, but it vanished as soon as she noticed the expression on his face. "What's wrong, Mendeecees, baby?" she asked, stepping toward him with worry in her eyes. I answered, "Yandy," he said icily, holding up the DNA test results in front of her face. His hand trembled as he pushed the paper toward her, his eyes burning with anger. As he explained this, Yandy's face went pale. Her smile vanished, and she swallowed hard, taking a step back. Mendeecees responds, "I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about." He raised his voice once more and said, "This test reveals that the child isn't mine. You've lied to me and to all of us for years. How long has this been going on, Yandy? How long have you been keeping this secret?" "Me." Yandy opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out because the accusation was too heavy for her to handle. She rushed through her thoughts, but she was unable to think of anything appropriate to say because she hadn't anticipated men finding out in this way, and she hadn't anticipated the anger in his voice. "I didn't lie. Mendeecees," she said, her voice trembling a little. "It's difficult and complex." Mendeecees almost yelled, "You think telling me the truth was complicated? Or is it the lies you've been feeding me that are complicated?" "You've been lying to me about my own child, Yandy, and I've been there for him like he's my flesh and blood, and all this time I've been a fool," yelled BC as Yandy felt her heart sink. She knew she couldn't lie her way out of this, but at the home, truth was something she wasn't sure she was ready to face. The shame was eating her alive, but she had to say something, anything, even if it wasn't like you think she said. Mendeecees turned away from her as she walked in frustration, and Yandy's eyes filled with tears, and she was at a loss for words. She had always considered herself to be the strong one, the one who held everything together, but now that everything was falling apart, she opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. She simply stood there, frozen. "This is absurd, Yandy." He could barely look at her longer. "You've injured me. I don't know what to believe anymore. I've been there for you, through thick and thin, and this is how you thank me." Andy's eyes were watering as she attempted to talk. "Please, New York seas. I didn't know how to explain that it wasn't like this at first. I was attempting to protect our family member when she cut me off, turning around to confront her by lying to me and to our son. How could you have believed that was protecting anyone? Do you realize what this is doing to us?" You could see it in his eyes as he refused to let this go. It wasn't just about the test. Yandy choked back a tightening of her chest as she attempted to explain herself, but nothing she said could reverse the harm that had already been done. She had kept a huge secret for a very long time, and now it was all coming to light as she was betrayed and hurt. Yandy Men's emotionally charged voice persisted. "It's all about trust. Everything we've created and experienced together seems to be a lie. How can I tell what's true now? I can't do this anymore, Yandy. I can't keep pretending like everything is okay when it's not. I need space. I need time to think." With that, Mendeecees walked out the door, leaving Yand standing in the ruins of everything they once had. The silence between them felt suffocating, and the air was thick with the weight of their broken bond. "You even love me?" he asked softly, almost too softly, but the pain in his face was so obvious that she could hardly breathe, and she secretly knew that things would never be the same between them. There was only chaos and bewilderment in the days after M's abrupt departure. After everything they had been through together, she had never thought that something like this could happen. But now that the men's DPS was gone and the truth was out in the open, she had no idea how to fix what had been broken. Her phone was constantly ringing with messages from friends, family, and fans looking for answers, and everyone had their own theories about what had actually happened. Yandy was left alone in the empty house, her heart hurting, trying to find any semblance of normalcy in a world that had just been completely upended. Yandy knew that the damage had already been done when Men's left. He didn't simply walk out of their home. He walked out of her life. She could feel the distance between them growing with each hour that went by, and she wasn't sure how to stop it. Some people who supported MD said he was right to be and leave, while others who were loyal to Y tried to reassure her that everything would be all right and that the truth would soon be revealed. When she spoke to her mother, who had always been a pillar of support in her life, the truth of the situation struck her most strongly. Miss Smith was incensed. When Yandy informed her of the DNA test results, her voice faltered in shock. "How could you have allowed it to come this far, Yandy? You lied to her mother, and now you've ruined everything. Do you even know what you've done?" "I didn't plan for this to happen, Mom. Her mother had insisted that you pace back and forth in the living room of Yandy's house," Yandy pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "I never wanted to hurt him, but it wasn't like that in the beginning. I didn't know how to tell him the truth." Her mother's eyes narrowed, and now look where we are. You've damaged your marriage, and you've destroyed your family. You need to fix it, Yandy, and you need to do it fast. Yandy felt the pressure growing. It wasn't just about her relationship with Men's anymore. It was about everything they had worked for, their family, their future. But how could she fix something so broken? How could she undo the years of lies and betrayal that had built up over time? Meanwhile, Mendeecees was dealing with his own fallout. Friends, family, and fans were all standing behind him, supporting him through the most painful chapter of his life. He had always been seen as the calm and collected one, the strong one of the family, but now he was showing his raw, real emotions. He didn't know who to trust anymore. He didn't know what was real. One afternoon, Ices met up with his brother, who had been his support through so many ups and downs. They sat in silence for a few moments, neither of them knowing exactly how to start the talk. Finally, Mendeecees broke the silence. "I never thought I'd be here, bro," he said, his voice low and filled with hurt. "I thought I had it all. The family, the love, everything I wanted, and now it's all a lie. You don't have to explain yourself, man. We're here for you no matter what you need. I'm not even sure what I need anymore, MC." His brother put a hand on his shoulder after seeing the extent of his suffering. His voice broke with emotion as he said, "Yandy lied to me. I gave her everything, and she did this to me. I don't know how to look at her the same way anymore. Have you talked to her?" His brother asked gently, "No," and he responded angrily, "What's there to talk about?" "She lied, and now I'm supposed to just forgive her? I've been trying to understand it, but it's eating me alive." Every time he considered the future, he saw nothing but a broken world since the weight of the crisis was too much for male VCs to bear. Family and unsolved questions. Could they return from this faraway town? Was this really the end? Yandy was struggling to make sense of her own feelings. She had never felt so alone and bewildered, but one of her close friends, a reliable person, who had always answered her calls to check in, said, "What are you going to do? This whole situation has gone too far. You can't keep pretending like everything is okay when it's clearly not. I don't know what to do anymore," Yandy said, her voice shaking. "I tried to fix it. I tried to make everything right, but I think it's too late. He won't even talk to me. He's done with me." Her friend remained silent for a while before saying, "This isn't just about you and us anymore, Yandy. This is about the truth. It's about what's right. No matter how difficult it is, you need to own up to your actions." Yandy knew her friend was right, but facing the truth was more difficult than anything else. In the past, she had attempted to shield MDs from him by creating a lie that had gotten out of control. Now, the damage had been done, and the consequences were far-reaching. Men fans were divided, with some blaming Mendeecees for walking away and others defending his right to stand up for the truth as the drama developed. While DC relied on his friends and family for support, Yandy clung to the hope that she could somehow fix the unfixable. But as the me's increased, MC was dealing not only with the betrayal of his wife, but also with the very foundation of his family being questioned. The public watched, wondering what would happen next. One thing was certain: the drama was far from done. As the days passed, the tension between Men and Yandy only grew more intense. What had begun as a startling revelation had evolved into a full-fledged public spectacle, with fans and the media surreptitiously watching every step. Social media was flooded with comments, memes, and theories about what would happen next. Men's every post was watched, and Yandy's every appearance was judged. It seemed like no one could escape the fallout of the DNA test drama Mendeecees, however. It was clear that he needed space to think he had pulled away from Yandy from the media. From the world, he was trying to find peace in the middle of the storm. But the questions kept bothering him. Could he ever trust Yandy again? Was it possible to rebuild what had been broken? The love they once shared seemed like a distant past, overshadowed by the lies that had broken their relationship. Meanwhile, Yandy wasn't giving up. Despite Men's distance, she was desperate to make peace. She knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but she couldn't sit idly by and let her marriage slip away. She reached out to Ems, sending messages, leaving voicemails, and even showing up at his favorite places, hoping for a moment of peace. But every attempt seemed to be met with cold silence. He wasn't ready to face her. He wasn't ready to forgive her one evening after weeks of quiet. Yandy received a call from MC, her heart as she looked at the screen, unsure of what to expect. Would he yell at her again? Would he finally confront her about the lies? Yandy on the other line, MC's voice sounded exhausted. "I've been thinking a lot about everything." At this point, Yandy's breath was lodged in her throat. She had been waiting for New York to arrive. "I really apologize. I never intended for any of this to occur. I realize I betrayed your confidence and upset you, but I need you to realize that I didn't want to lose." The situation still weighs heavily on MC, and I'm not sure if I can comprehend it. "You lied to me for so long, and I can't just act like everything is okay. I've spent my entire life trusting the people closest to me, but now I'm questioning everything." They were silent for a long time. Each of them was aware of the seriousness of the topic, and as MC's words lingered in the air, Yandy could feel her heart bleeding once more. She understood that the route to forgiveness was uncertain, and that mending wouldn't be simple or quick since the harm was so deep. Mendeecees. For a brief moment, Mendeecees was silent, his anger and betrayal still raw, but there was something in Yandy's words that moved him. "I know I've lost your trust, I've broken you, and I don't expect that to be fixed overnight, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right. I'm willing to fight for us, for our family." I'm not sure if I'm prepared for that, MD, but the lady he had loved for years and the mother of his kids was requesting another opportunity to repair what they had lost. And DC's stated quietly, "But I'm willing to try. I can't promise that things will return to how they were, but I'm willing to talk, unwilling to listen." Though it wasn't a promise of reconciliation, it was a beginning, and Yandy felt a glimmer of hope light up in her chest. A ray of hope. At the end of a very dark tunnel, the following weeks were occupied with rigorous therapy sessions, late-night discussions, and emotional exchanges. DCS and Yandy both faced their fears trying to navigate the mess they had created, the lies, the hurt, and the mistrust. It was a painful journey, but they were both trying to find a way forward. Their family, too, was affected by the fallout. The kids could sense the tension between their parents, and Yandy's mother continued to push for her daughter to make things right, but Miss wasn't rushing into anything. He had been hurt too deeply, and the scars ran too deep for him to just jump back into a happy family story yet. As the dance went on, there were small steps forward. DCS agreed to spend more time with Yandy to see if they could rebuild their relationship. They started to share more, to talk better, and while things weren't perfect, not even close, there was an understanding between them that they both wanted something more than the pain they had been living in. But the scars would remain. The trust that was once so solid had cracks, and it would take years to fully heal. The road ahead would be long and uncertain, with many more problems, but for the first time in months, both Menz and Yandy felt like they had a real chance at rebuilding their life together. As for the public, the story continued to grow. Fans still watched closely, either to know what would happen next. Would Mendeecees and Yandy be able to put the pieces of their broken marriage back together, or would this be the end of their relationship? No one could say for sure, but one thing was clear. The drama wasn't over yet. The shock from the DNA test scandal has shaken the very foundation of Mendeecees and Gandhi's marriage, leaving fans around the world on the edge of their seats. As the couple struggles to find their way back to each other, the question remains: will they be able to fix the damage caused by years of lies, or will this be the end of one of reality TV's most famous couples? We want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe Yandy and Mendeecees can mend their relationship, or is it too late to do so? Please share your thoughts about the drama in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video to receive updates on the most recent developments in this shocking